Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Mikey Moto, and we have Indian FTR 1200 in front of us. We've been on CHIEFTAIN 116, which is right there. So we finished that video. So if you want to take a look, click up there on a screen to get yourself on the video. And we are going to test ride right now this FTR naked. Oh, this is light. FTR naked bike. Take a look on the screen. Indian FTR 1200. Nicely looking. Nice colors. Really nice colors. Okay. We have touchscreen, obviously. And oh, really nice. So let's really easy start. A Krapovich exhaust. Are we recording? We are. Okay. So I have to just turn around a little bit. So different. So much difference in regards of that travel ready motorcycle. Like, this is so easy to turn around. Oh, all right. Really easy. The clutch is really light. Alrighty, guys. I'll get back to you when we get ourselves out of the village. So guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mikey, and I'm gonna show you the Indian 1200 FTR 1200. So currently we had the possibility to test ride Indian motorcycles, and I was pumped about it because they have totally different line of motorcycles available, like to those which I have tested. So I've been on Honda, I've been on KTM, I've been on Ducati, I've been on Harley. All of the motorcycles are available to see on my channel in Moto Test. So don't hesitate and check that out. So currently I am on FTR 1200. FTR 1200 is a only motorcycle. Oh, it was neutral. I was expecting some engine braking. So of course I'm not going to compare it to the Chopper or Scout or Bobber or what it is. I'm going to compare it to other manufacturers and other naked style motorcycles. This is not hyper naked. That's one thing we have to get clear right away from the beginning. This is not hyper naked. It has V2 engine, V-twin, which is powerful enough for this kind of motorcycle. Those are the numbers are not that high. In nowadays mood, from Yamaha, from Kawasaki, from Honda, or from Triumph and Ducati, everybody is aiming for the 200 top motorcycle, 200 horsepower top motorcycle. So everybody is aiming for the hyper naked, not really usable power on the public streets. But we have from Indian this naked motorcycle, which is totally capable of sporty ride, is totally capable of traveling, and is really comfortable enough to be able to enjoy the ride. Of course, the wind protection is not suitable for really highway use, but this motorcycle is producing about 125 horsepower and about 120 newton meters of torque, which actually is pretty good numbers. I have to get used to the pegs. So sitting position wise, I am 182 centimeters. I don't have any problem to flat foot this motorcycle. In comparison to the previous models of FTR, they actually put the smaller wheels in the front and the back. That means the whole height on the motorcycle and the seat height got a little bit lower, so it is easier to flat foot a motorcycle and to move around. So regarding the position, the body position, I'm sitting really nice with the flat back, with the straight back, really comfortable position. You have much more wider bars as on the previous version, so it is really comfortable for the hands as well. If I compare it to other brands and naked style motorcycles, the sitting position is pretty much the same as you would be expecting from the naked style bike. The red line is at 9,000 RPM, which is plenty. It's not high revving engine because this is still V-twin, so you cannot really expect that high rev range. Also, regarding seating position, my legs are really in pretty sporty position. My feet are really far back, so actually my toes are pretty much under my butt, so the foot pegs are pretty much far in the back, which is okay for sporty position. But I'm not really sure about a little bit longer rides where I should have the knees so much bent. So I believe that position will not be very comfortable for longer ride. So FTR is actually coming from the background of flat track motorcycles, so they kind of kept this styling on this. So you have really flat fuel tank. The fuel tank is actually coming a little bit under your seat, so the center of gravity is kept as low as possible. You are pretty much sitting on the tank, which is not making things uncomfortable. You have that flat look from the side and pretty much sitting on the frame and on the fuel tank. The seat, I have to say that the seat is really comfortable. If I compare, for example, to MV Agusta Rival, which has also really similar position, this is much more comfortable. The handlebars are much more in front and the seat is really soft. Like, I have to say, the seat is awesome. I can really imagine sitting on it for a longer period of the time. I really like the position of the handlebars. Like, it's really comfortable. Like, it's ideal height. It's ideally wide. Like, I don't feel any discomfort regarding the hand position, which is sometimes really hard to find that ideal position for the hands. They found a music setting. One thing which I have to mention about FTR is Indian has decided to actually include a lot of European styling and a lot of European equipment into the motorcycle. So first of all, you have Brembo master cylinder with the Brembo brakes in the front, which you don't really often see on American motorcycles. Like Harley, they don't use Brembo, they don't use any Italian brand on a motorcycle. So Indian with the FTR has decided to go a little bit further with the design and a little bit further to reach out also people outside the US. That means that you have also on FTR Carbon, you have also all-in suspension, which is also pretty much step up for the highest suspension setup available out there. Also, you have that Akrapovic exhaust system, which is not American, right? So also you're reaching for that European styling and European equipment, accessories fitting on the purely American motorcycle. And nevertheless, Indian FTR 1200 is actually the engine. So we are not talking about cubic inches, we are talking about cc, which is also kind of not a step up, but it's also that adjustment to European and worldwide market, because all the Harleys and all the other bobbers and scouts, they actually use the cubic inches, But on FTR you have 1200, which is 1200cc engine. So also in the name they have included a little bit of that European influence. It's easy to flick around, it's easy to do the sporty ride. The power is obviously there. That punchiness and that torque from V2 engine, it's just something you cannot replicate. I don't have this wind protection. I can go behind him and use his wind protection. You have a touchscreen, which is a great cutting edge technology. Is really smooth, it's really easy to use, which is great. There are no lags. Also you have multiple setups. So if I go with this menu button on the left hand side, you have a different setup for the speedo, for the temperature outside, for the direction, like south. This is in Slovak, so this is northeast. You have range, you have temperature of the motorcycle, and you have kph, and also the range and time. You have also multiple setups, connectivity, traction control. So easy to go through, but I don't think this is... I don't think that this is the setup you want to be in while riding. So this is something you should do before riding, right? So just go back to the usual setup, which is very nicely readable. You have speedo really big, you have RPM range. That red is... that red is really nicely coming with the red theme of the motorcycle, but it's not that visible as I would expect. You have nice positive clicks in the gearbox, so you feel when you shift it. The clutch is nice and light. The brakes are awesome. It's a little bit jerky in the low RPM, like around those 2000, 3000 RPM is a little bit jerky. So you have to be keeping the engine a little bit higher in the revs to have that smoothness out of it. Let's do some walk around. Oh, that kickstand is so heavy to put down. It's so dirty. I'm sorry, Indian. It's not my fault. It is not my fault. Man, the sitting position is much more different than I expected. I was expecting that to be a little bit more relaxed on bottom half, because you have really legs in the back. Yeah, it's really
expecting a cruiser type of motor.
Yeah, it's...
When I saw it for the first time, but
it's really sporty thing, small machine. Yeah, it actually really reminds me CB650 from Honda. It's a small, nimble, really sporty looking, really comfortable. Like, I like the sound. Like the Akrapovic on the idle, it's not that significant, but once you get going, you can really feel and you can really hear the Akrapovic. Yeah. Really light clutch, a little bit jerky at the lower RPM. Yeah.
The clutch, I love the clutch.
Yeah. It's just one finger is enough. Totally. Brembo setup. So Brembo brakes in the front. You have fully adjustable front forks. So compression, rebound, and the preload. You have V-twin engine with the Akrapovic exhaust. I'm not lying, Akrapovic. or a Krapovic. It depends how you want it. Metzler tires, M9RR, race tag M9RR, so pretty much sporty tire. You can see also on the edge of the tire like that, keeping this part to be kind of a slick. Then you have Brembo, one piston caliper in the back as well. That really cool looking one-sided shock in the back. And if you take a look from the back, from the side, you can really see that top flat style. So you have a fuel tank really low and really flat, going smoothly into the seat. So you have a little bit of the butt stop in here, but totally from the side you have that flat vibe out of this. Cool looking, really modern front LED headlight, a little bit alien looking, really similar to other Indian motorcycles. A little bit retro looking mirrors. I don't see a lot in them, which is a little bit of the downside of the styling, but it's totally enough for this kind of motorcycle. Foot pegs, a little bit of a off-road vibe in them, as you can see. A little bit of rubber for better grip for your boots or for your shoes. Like, I like the styling. I would probably go for different color, but man, for sure this really stands out a lot. It does. Guys, so our time is coming to the end, so we have to return these two beasts. So let's just get going, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the feeling. Touchscreen is great. I like the touchscreen. It's really easy to use. And look at this. This starting is awesome. You don't have to hold it. That I have to say that Indian did a great thing with that. I like that a lot. So this motorcycle is aimed for like road use, like to have a fun on this, to go to the close mountains, to have fun in the twisties. And one thing has to be said as well, like the fuel tank, since the fuel tank is really low, and you also can see the shaping of the fuel tank to be not that big, it kind of bites you back in the butt because the fuel capacity is not that big. So you don't really get a lot of the range out of this motorcycle. It's something about 12 liters, I think. So you have to take into account that you will be stopping on a gas station pretty often. Yep, really punchy. So final thoughts about FTR 1200. Small, nimble, powerful. You wouldn't expect that amount of power out of the paper if you just read the specs. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back in front of Indian Motorcycles in Bratislava. And we have just finished the FTR 1200. I gotta say, I really enjoy this. Dobrý, hotovo.